Hi everyone, it's Janet with Sugar Shine Designs. I sure hope you enjoyed that spooky music. We're going to have some more later on, and it's hard to believe Halloween is almost here, but it is. And here's my last card of the season for you. Trick or Treat with a spooky Halloween orb. First off, all of these dies are from the new Christmas release from CottageCutz. And I made the globe actually with this snow globe with Fawn die cut. I used both the bottom pieces, the ribbon and the base. I did not, however, use the orb part. I created something different for that. Here is what I did. I found that the 4th and 5th die in pretty much is exactly the right size for this base. And so I used it to cut multiple pieces of cardstock so I could stack them up and sandwich a piece of acetate in the middle. Now at the bottom I've used this die called Halloween Phrases and More for the trick or treat saying, and I just mixed it up a little bit, put the cat in the middle with the oar on top, and then I went ahead and used the jack-o'-lantern and the hat. Now the spooky looking house is this ghost house, which I've used in previous videos, and I mentioned that we have these circles that I'm cutting out of cardstock, and I created that by using the 4th and 5th dies in the nested stitch set and connected them with washi tape, and then I proceeded to cut each of the circles out that I needed. I used 5 of them for this particular project. And so once you run it through, you see that you have a nice frame here, and you could make this wider if you wanted, but I found that that size worked for me and my taste in this project. So I created then also a cutout of some acetate using some stiff packaging that I had recycled, and I'm using the bigger of the die cuts for this, so the 4th one in. You'll see I'm using the Glad press and seal board that I've shown you guys before. It's really handy for something like this because it will hold multiple pieces together as you're stacking. So in this case it works great for putting multiple pieces one on top of the other for this circle. And I've put a few together at this point, and I'm ready now to glue down the acetate to the cardstock. And I use wet glue for this, and then just touch it lightly with my hands. It squishes the glue so it won't go on to my acetate window as much as it would otherwise. And then I can push that down, make sure that it gets a chance to dry. This will hold fairly well. I'm using Scotch Quick Dry for this. I've used it for many windows, and it's actually held pretty good. Now I'm ready to put on top of that acetate the top of the circle. So this is the final piece on top of the acetate, and that covers up that glue and gives the frame a nice looking appearance. So next I'm going to show you how I made the orb glow and a few of the other steps to get ready to finish the card off. So I'm going to proceed here to let you listen to the music and watch me work this. I hope you enjoy it. Have fun with the music. It's Halloween after all. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, then we're ready to put the bottom piece of paper. Now this paper comes from a paper stack called Eek-A-Boo Stack. I bought it a few years ago, and it's die cuts with a view. So I'm just trimming that up, and the next thing I'm going to do is put glue here on my ribbon so that I can attach it to cover up that raw edge of the paper and kind of give that nice transition between the white cardstock base and my paper. Plus I like this, it's got a little bit of gold and orange kind of glitter in it. It's really quite pretty. Reminds me of candy corn or something like that. So now I was sitting here trying to figure out where I should put the base, and I decided that I would put it just like I show it, where the base looks like it's kind of flat, where the circle becomes flat at the bottom. And then just for good measure, I used both some wet glue and also some Scotch tape here just to secure it down at the bottom and make sure that it would not come apart. Now I kind of marked where I wanted my haunted house to be after I had placed the orb and fooled around a little bit. That was off camera. And at this point I'm preparing to glue the house down. And I had marked where I wanted it with a little piece of pencil, at least a mark of a pencil rather, and then I knew where to put it and it would be in perfect placement for the orb. Now the orb, or the globe, I put some double-sided tape down so that it would have some height to go along with the height of my orb, because remember that was about 5 layers thick, so it stood up a bit. Use some wet glue again to go right over the yellow and golden tones. The idea I had here was that the yellow and gold would sort of glow from within, and that's why I call it spooky, as well as the spooky house. Now I used that ribbon like I mentioned before. I put a little gem on there, and then it was ready to go with my sentiment at the bottom. So you'll see here I put trick or treat, and then I'm going to use the cat in the middle and put the oar right on top of that kitty cat. And so at this point I have placed the first half, trick, and the cat with the oar. And it's just here now I'm going to put on the treat and just make sure that it's straight. Each letter kind of needs a little help to make sure that it stays straight. And that is the main part of the card, except for these 2 little add-ons here which come in that Halloween phrase die cut set. Love the green glowing jack-o'-lantern and the witch's hat here, just setting next to the orb, setting the scene. So that completed the main part of the card for the front. Now it was just a matter of gluing that on some black cardstock as a mat, and then I'm going to put that whole piece onto the purple card base, and this is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. And so that makes a perfect little A2 size card. Really like how that turned out. If you like this project, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And also don't forget, we are going to have a video blog of CottageCutz dies for the holiday season on October 27th and 28th. The links for that are going to be at the bottom in the video description. Thanks for joining me today and have a happy Halloween. Bye.